Hello, and today I'm speaking to Satvinder Singh of Deutsche Bank, and we're of course going to be talking about transaction banking and security services and cash management. Our industry, what have been some of the big changes that have been happening over the past 12 months?
I think if you look at transactional banking, it's been through a rapid change, and what I would say it's been in perpetual evolution over the last 12 months, and that's going to continue. And the core themes that we're seeing impact clients are really around regulation. Mm-hmm. It's around commitment to the business, and it's about how much you're investing in technology and leading edge solutions from a client perspective. So if you take the first one, regulations, there's national, there's regional, there's global regulation happening. Mm-hmm. And the idea is how much of that really impacts transactional banking, what does it do to our businesses, how does it change the way we're approaching transactional banking? How does it change the way clients are buying from us? And of course, how does it change the operating model that our clients have and their end clients as well? Mm-hmm. So that's regulation. And then it's really around commitment. We all talk about commitment to transactional banking, but it's really being able to demonstrate it. Are we bringing leading edge products into the landscape? Are clients happy with the expansion that we're doing? Are we being able to demonstrate thought leadership in terms of what we're doing? And that's really around commitment. And the last one is technology. I mean, at the end of the day, transactional banking's nerve center is around how much we spend in technology, how much of that is really on the discretionary spend we have versus the spend we need to do to maintain our systems, the spend we need to do to keep pace with the regulatory changes. But the critical part from a client perspective is how much are we investing in our products, in our technology, to give them the solutions that they want going forward. Mm-hmm.
Now, you mentioned sort of the big trifecta of concerns for banks, the global regulation and customer service and, of course, investment in technology. But what are your clients telling you are their biggest challenges?
I think from a client perspective, they really want to be in a position where they're growing. So in an environment where the economy looks weak, there's regulatory focus, how will they grow? And they will grow by adding value. And that's the real question in this whole transactional banking, whether you look at a cash flow or a securities flow, where do they add value? The pool is shrinking, but does that mean their revenues will drop? Or can they sustain the investment and can they grow revenues? So I think it's really about growing the business. And few banks are able to do it, and you'll see it from various annual reports as to which transactional banks are really growing. Some are struggling because they're struggling to find that value add. And the smaller ones, either by weight of their ratings or the weight of the capital or the cost of capital required to stay in this business, or the investments required to stay in the business, or other reasons, are really pulling out. And that's where clients are really focused on. Which of my transactional bankers are really going to stay in this business and give me the value that I need to survive?
I mean, so much of customer service is about, not only listening to customers, but anticipating their needs. So, what advice would you give clients looking for a transaction banking partner?
I think the advice is a simple one. Look at today. Look at what a transactional banker can do today for you. Look at the services and solutions they can provide today. Mm-hmm. But also fast forward 3 years or 5 years and say, as you grow, are they committed to grow with you? As your changes evolve, as your sets of solutions to your clients change, will this transactional banking service provider be there with you? And will they help you gain more market share? And are they, again, going back to the point, are they invested, are they committed, and are they adding value? Not today, but fast forward 3 years, 5 years. And that, I think, is critical given the environment we're in. Not all transactional banks of today will survive the crisis. And figuring that out as to who the ultimate winners will be in 3 to 5 years is hugely important.
So are you anticipating consolidation in the market?
We've all talked about consolidation. I think you go to any SIBOS and you've backtracked 15 years, the theme has always been at some point consolidation will happen. We're beginning to see that happen. We've had small players in the European markets who've consolidated or have left the business. I think that trend will continue because it is becoming increasingly expensive to invest in systems and operations and technology. It's increasingly, if the revenue pool is shrinking and the cost of compliance from a regulatory perspective, I think some organizations, especially the smaller ones, are questioning the risk-reward ratio of being in this business.
Now you mentioned Sibos, and we're in the run-up to Sibos right now, which is going to happen in Asia, in Japan. What are some of the topics that are going to be discussed at Sibos that will resonate most with your clients?
I think if you look from a Sibos agenda perspective, I really like what they've put together for Sibos in Osaka. It's forward-facing. So we're not reflecting as to what's happened in the past. We're trying to anticipate things. So when you look at the future of transactional banking, certain things we've already talked about will stay a constant. Regulation is up there. So lots and lots of debate about what's happening in Europe, what's happening within the US regulation, what's also happening in the Asian landscape, and how they interplay. That's one conversation. There's a lot of conversation at Sibos around operating models. So as volumes decrease, as top line decreases, how do you preserve bottom line? Are we being innovative enough? Are we embracing technology? Are there things we should be doing? So there's lots of focus there as well. And the last part is really around definition of commitment. How do providers demonstrate commitment? What are they doing? How can we showcase our abilities at Sibos? So I think if you look at the agenda, it's pretty broad-based. I'm very excited by it because it's forward-facing, not backward-looking.
So, I mean, a bit of fun, the Deutsche Bank booth at the exhibit floor at Sibos is always one of the larger and kind of the most popular. So what can we expect to see from Deutsche Bank at Sibos this year?
Three things. You should see a lot of clients having fun. You should see a lot of examples of innovation. And you should see a lot of examples of commitment. So I'll give you some examples. We have an app-based solutioning product for securities and cash called Autobahn. That will be there. So clients can go in, play around in an app module perspective, see what they can do on FX, see what sort of research they can do, see what sort of cash movements can be packaged together, what securities are happening. And it transcends asset class, and it's a global functionality. Lots and lots of very good feedback from clients. We're putting it up there. Come in, play around, see what you like. The second part of what we're going to do is FX for Cash, which is really our FX solutioning for corporates and financial institutions. Zillions of currencies you can play with. It's on people's desktops, very easy to use. Again, both are great examples of our investment in technology. Both are great examples of how we want to take simplicity to the client. And both are great examples of what we really hold dear to our heart, which is in our DNA, and that's innovation.
Excellent. That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.